Welcome back, and today we are back with Edifier, and this is the NeoBuds Pro 2. And after the original NeoBuds and the S version, we are back to see whether these guys are worth it in today's market, and we're going to be comparing them to some of the best options around this price point. Before we get into the review, please do hit that like button if you find the review helpful today, and do subscribe to the channel for more videos coming soon. So without any further delay, as you can see here, we have got the usual premium feel with this Edifier packaging. They've managed to step it up even more in terms of that premium feeling. And as you can see on the back, we have got some of the key specifications there. So we do have multi-band and multi-channel active noise cancellation. We've got spatial audio on board in this product. We've got 4 mics for environmental noise cancellation. So that's 4 mics on each earbud. We have got an IPX54 waterproof rating. We have got wearing detection, and we have got dual drivers. So we've got the Knowles balanced armature driver mixed with a dynamic driver. And as you can see, these guys are high-res certified. We've got LDAC, we've got LHDC X and 192, which gives us the opportunity to stream up to 192 kilohertz if you've got obviously the source audio and LHD codec available to you on your device. You can see there the battery total. So we've got 4 hours with ANC on, 5.5 with ANC off, and up to a total of 16.5 in total with the battery case. And then we've got 15 minutes for 2 hours on the fast charge. So we'll talk about some of the performance and those specs in a little more detail. But before we do so, let's see what comes on inside the box. So we have got, as I've said, I love this kind of clean Edifier packaging. It does feel like more of a, a premium brand. So we have got the usual box there. So I've already taken out the key bits. We've got, again, the return of the nice little bag for the earbuds, which I like. It keeps them protected if that's what you want to do. We have got a USB-C charging cable. Again, no wireless charging on this product like the previous versions. And we've got a really good number there of interchangeable ear tips. They're working pretty well overall. And that's just about it, other than obviously you've got your standard paperwork in there and the buds themselves. So we have got a new design, both in terms of the case and the earbuds. I would call it more of a refinement than a completely separate design from the previous version. As you can see, they have stayed true to the kind of the look and the feel of the previous ones. But yeah, I really do like the design. It's very, very, very smart, very sleek, and a little bit different as well. So we have got the stem style, not too long there. It's a sort of semi-deep fit. These ear tips are working just fine for me. But when it comes to the sort of the overall feel and comfort and security, I've had no problems at all. I'm getting a good seal. They're not really going to work with any other types of ear tip. So the spin fits are not really going to work because they don't fit back in the case, which, you might see as an issue. But overall, as long as I'm getting a good seal with these onboard tips, I'm happy. Make sure you do try out all the different options until you do get a good seal. But all in all, we're getting, I think, an upgraded product here. So we talked about some of the key specs. The spatial audio is on board now. We've got Google Fast Pair introduced for the first time. We have got also, like I said, more ANC modes than previous. and obviously when we look at the app we can have a look at that as well. So they have expanded that. 4 microphones is really impressive. They're talking about up to 50 decibels of noise cancellation depth now, and obviously upgrades as well in the codecs on board. You know, the one of the highest. So they're claiming for the first time we are getting premium sound up to 192 kilobits over Bluetooth for the first time. So obviously that's great if you can take advantage of that. Personally, I've been able to test these with LDAC only, but like I said, if you've got the LHDC on your device, then you can take advantage of that higher level codec if you so wish. The Edifier app obviously is still really helping to customize these. It's developing all the time. It isn't perfect, but we are getting the usual, as we go into the app, we are getting the usual, like I said, different modes of active noise cancellation. We're then getting different settings within transparency as well. We're getting the usual presets for the audio signature. So we are getting classic, dynamic, and then the option to go in there and tweak with an EQ. And I have stuck with a dynamic setting, and I'll talk about the sound quality in just a little while. We've also got some other settings there, as you can see, but you're going to be able to do things like customize the controls to a point. And while we're on the controls, they are still not particularly comprehensive in my view, and it's one of the areas that I would have liked to see them improve, if I'm being honest. We're still not getting very much customization because we're only getting a double and a triple tap. I think a lot of that is down to the haptics that they use in the touch controls. They work fine, but there's just not enough of them. And the other area, which I would say on the specs is kind of slightly short in terms of what I'd expect, is the battery life. But there are other options that are giving this level. I'd like to see a little bit more juice in these at this point in 2024. But when we come to the performance, this is where they sort of really start to kind of, they start to separate themselves from some of the other ones. Firstly, in terms of active noise cancellation, it's excellent. We're getting a seriously comprehensive implementation here, both in terms of the performance and the options on board and via the app or via the touch controls. Excellent to see. We've got sort of high, medium, low. We've got wind noise. Obviously, we've got that transparency mode. But if you put these in high, they're going to do an excellent job in terms of blocking out that outside noise. Some of the best that I've heard on the market at this time. Transparency mode is very good as well, and it's great to have those 3 sub options to tailor that to your preference. And I normally stick that on the voice boost. That's my personal preference. But overall, ANC and transparency is excellent on this pair. When it comes to the sound quality, again, thinking about the setup here, we've got digital signal process with active crossover, which is the dual driver system. And this is the best sounding pair of Edifiers by a stretch. We're now getting that kind of next generation of Knowles balanced armature driver mixed with a dynamic driver, and it's an excellent sound signature. It's what you expect. It's a very rich and wide sound, but you're getting a great level of detail, and you're getting an excellent sub bass response. In terms of the mid range, it's really good. I've heard richer mid ranges out the box. But I think the bass and the treble are where these guys really excel. But the overall sound signature, particularly in the dynamic setting, is extremely pleasing, and one of my favourite kind of dynamic sound signatures on the market at the moment. So overall, when it comes to the performance, These guys are really kind of up there, both in terms of ANC, transparency and sound quality around this price point. Where I think these guys are going to need, would need an improvement to kind of be the best, really, is number one, battery life. Number two is going to be touch controls. And then, thirdly, the Edifier app is good, but it's not the best on the market. So again, there are some options where you're going to get a better app experience overall. But like I said, they are easy recommendation. What I wanted to do is compare them to some of the other ones around this price point. So we are looking at an RRP of around 129, but you are regularly getting these discounted around 99. So that's the kind of price point that I've been comparing. So the first one is the Samsung Galaxy FE. And these little fellas are, a real surprise package from the back end of last year. And I do feel like for under 100, you're getting a really, again, doing the basics really well. The sound quality, the sound signature on these is what you'd expect from Samsung. So it is that kind of Harman curve, prioritizing kind of the mid-range, the treble response. The bass certainly doesn't lack, but these are that balanced sound, really, really enjoyable, musical kind of sound, great for instrumentation, things of that nature. The ANC is excellent, as you'd expect from Samsung pair, and the transparency mode is very good as well. The bit where these kind of fall down is going to be number one, lack of compatibility with iOS in terms of the app. So you need an Android or a Samsung device to take full advantage of the app. There are some presets, etc., but obviously if you've got iOS, then it's no good. Limited customization, therefore, so the controls are fine, but they are limited, no volume control. And then we're lacking wireless charging as well, which would have been nice to see, but maybe too much to ask on a super budget option there from one of the more premium brands. The next one is going to be the JBL Live Pro 2. And again, RRP, you're looking at more like 129, but I've seen these today for 99. So all of these comparison options are available now for, certainly in the UK, for under £100. And these are really full featured, fantastic signature JBL sound, great for bass heads. Not the brightest pair on the market, but very satisfying. EQs available via the app, excellent ANC, really good transparency, limited controls again, but absolutely fantastic all-rounders, and a really good kind of wireless charging, a really good, again, option from probably a more premium brand, and coming in under 100 now, offering some great value. So those are the JBL Live Pro 2. And the next ones are going to be the Liberty 4 by Soundcore. One of my favourite earbuds of the last couple of years. Now, obviously, becoming a bit more of a kind of a budget, not budget option, but kind of higher end budget option, in the sense that these are heavily discounted regularly now, which would suggest maybe we're looking at a predecessor this year, whether that's going to be the Liberty 4 Pro or the Liberty 5. But all in all, full featured, do everything really well. Not the best active noise cancellation strength. That's probably the one area that other buds are doing slightly better. But fantastic app via the Soundcore app. Really, really good sound quality. Dual dynamic drivers on these. So they dropped the balanced armature that they had on the Liberty 3 Pro and replaced that with dual drivers. So more of a kind of cohesive sound, fully customizable, Hear ID. So obviously the only one so far on the list with the Hear ID, fully fledged squeeze controls. Like I said, adaptive ANC, whilst it's not the strongest, really good transparency, wireless charging as well. Sort of fantastic option still in 2024, in my opinion. And then finally, we've got the new guy on the block, which is the OnePlus Buds 3. And if you would have listened to my review, which I dropped recently, these really are pretty much giving us everything for a very, very good price, which is kind of under 100, but even 90 at times already, with that early bird offer that they've got, certainly on the OnePlus website in the UK. These are not an official upgrade to the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, but they are offering much of the same and bringing a lot of the same quality and performance. So some of the key changes are we now have touch controls with swipe gestures instead of the squeeze and hold, which gives us volume control and access to everything. We're still getting the dynamic drivers with Hear ID 2.0. We're getting very decent noise cancellation, adaptive ANC there, which is slightly better than the Buds 2, the Buds Pro 2. We're getting a very decent transparency mode. We're getting a fantastic sound signature, and my current favourite sound signature at this price point, because it's just got that kind of rich, immersive sound. Some of the strengths to that are definitely in the mid-range, where vocals and instruments sound incredibly immersive and rich. We have got 3D sound now as well, which is actually, it's done really well. It does give a nice kind of, it opens up audio and music really nicely, as well as kind of TV and movies. I do prefer it to the spatial audio on the Edifiers, which is more of what we've seen in other options, which is great for kind of movies, but not so much for music. So these guys, I think, if you don't need the ANC strength that you're going to certainly get with the Edifiers, the Samsung and the JBL, if you're prioritising sound quality, then I'd go for the OnePlus. In terms of the Edifiers, definitely the best ANC on the list. So if you're kind of prioritising that, then go for the Edifiers. But equally, if you want that kind of really good all-rounder, the Edifiers are standing up really well to all of these options. But I'd say Samsung are the kind of budget option. The JBL are kind of that kind of bass head sound with, not as much of a bright treble and detail, although, holding its own on sound quality. Your Soundcores are your kind of, your balanced sound, again, like the Samsung. Less emphasis on bass, but a really enjoyable sound signature like we'd expect from Soundcore. And then the OnePlus is that kind of more rich and immersive, bass head certified, but incredibly detailed, wide soundstage, and just for me, overall best when it comes to the sound signature. So there's a number of options here, guys. The Edifiers stack up really well. I do recommend them if you can get them at sort of 99. They're a no-brainer. Really kind of upgrading in most areas, apart from the battery life and the controls, but bringing some great technology, future-proofing as well. So like I said, a number of great options here. It just depends on your needs. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please do subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll leave you with the call quality samples for these 5 options under $100 or pounds in 2024. Bye now. This is a core quality test with the Edifier NeoBuds Pro 2 in a quiet environment. This is a core quality test with the Samsung Galaxy Buds FE in a quiet environment. This is a core quality test with the JBL Live Pro 2 in a quiet environment. And this is a core quality test with the Soundcore Liberty 4 in a quiet environment. And this is a core quality test with the OnePlus Buds 3 in a quiet environment.